Hey Delvers, welcome back to the bakery. Today, we're diving into some of the most mind-bending mysteries of the Abyss and trying to explain the differences between Narehate, Juusou, and Aublades. If you haven't seen past Season 2 yet, there's spoilers ahead, so proceed with caution. Let's start with Narehate. The term Narehate translates to the hollowed out, which already gives us a pretty clear idea of what they're about. These guys are victims of the Abyss's curse, and they come in all kinds of forms. The first is the traditional Narehate. When people try to ascend the Abyss in the 6th layer or even possibly lower, they're hit with the curse of ascension. The result? They're not just transformed, they're twisted, losing their humanity, and they become these monstrous, hollowed out versions of themselves. It's one of the most tragic things the Abyss does to its victims, and Buruberii turns so many of these poor children into these things. Then there's the other side of Narehate, like the ones we see in Buruberii. These aren't cursed victims, they're blessed. Thanks to the cradle of desire, they're transformed by their inner desires, and they got to keep their minds intact. No nasty mutations or total personality lost. While some of them look a little bit screwed up, but they're not too bad, they're still sort of humanoid. These blessed Narehate are more in harmony with the Abyss, which is a rare thing to say the least. Let's talk about Nanachi. Her case is pretty special. She's one of the most unique characters in the whole series and one of the most loved by fans. Nanachi used to be a human but was turned into a rabbit like Narehate. But unlike most Narehate, she wasn't completely stripped of her humanity due to a special exception called the Blessing. This makes her a perfect guide for Rico and Rake, as she gets special powers as a blessed Narehate to see the curse of the Abyss. Just a quick reminder for those of you who don't know how Nanachi was blessed, although it's kinda hard to forget. Mitty, her beloved friend, was hit with the curse at the same time as Nanachi, you know, in that one elevator scene. And she was able to endure the curse so that Nanachi would only suffer a minor version of the 6th layer curse. Here's an interesting question. Are white whistles just another form of Narehate? When you think about it, there is actually a little bit of merit here. So stick with me for this one. When someone is converted into a white whistle, they kind of give up their physical form and their soul, and they become a white whistle husk, similar to the Narehate of Buruberii. It's kind of the same deal that the villagers had with Buruberii, where they felt like they had to give up everything, including their lives, to her after the horrible way they survived the Abyss. I don't want to repeat it here. Next up, this is the part I am most excited to talk about. Let's talk about Juusou. These are beings that are born as Narehate in the Abyss. Not a Narehate transformed from a human. They seem to be tied to the Abyss's life cycle in ways we don't fully understand yet. The most well-known Juusou so far are all of Savajo's crew. She collects a team full of them, and supposedly our little Mania is one too. But there's a bit more to discuss on her, so maybe we'll leave that for another video. Unlike Narehate, who are victims of the Abyss's curse, Juusou are born this way. It's like they're a natural part of the Abyss's ecosystem, almost like a creature of the Abyss, not just a victim of it. Their exact origins is still a mystery, but we know they're deeply connected to the Abyss's curse, and everything that comes with it. Here's the cool part. Juusous actually have a strong connection to white whistles. They can actually gain more power when they have bonded with a white whistle. Nothing has been confirmed why this phenomena happens, but I've got a good theory about it. But first, let's talk about the Beast Stones. These mysterious stones seem to be key to the Juusou's power. And get this, the Beast Stones might even have a connection to the Abyssal Beasts. Lyza had this cryptic letter, and in chapter 67 of the manga, we finally got to see the page. All of the text was not only an ancient Abyss text, but it was also written back to front. Luckily, we have a way to decipher this code. All of the Abyssal text translates to katakana letters. For those who don't know, katakana is an alphabet in Japan that is used for foreign words. After the text is converted to Japanese, all we have to do is translate it to English and read it through a mirror. Luckily, I can skip all these steps, as the beautiful Made in Abyss fans who translate Made in Abyss on manga decks have already done it for us. So, once we flip this image around, this is what it reads. This creature has an unknown organ near its heart that resembles that of a Kamizuno. It is located in... Is the creature controlling these foreign bodies known by man? So there's a lot to unpack here from this encoded message. What I believe that this message is saying is that the Kamizuno, also known as the sickle horn, actually has a unique and unknown organ near its heart, in a very similar place that Juusou's beast stones are placed. This makes me wonder if the sickle horn and Juusou are not that far apart. Of course, Juusou have more consciousness and they're far more intelligent. If the sickle horn do have these beast stones, it wouldn't be too much of a stretch to assume that other creatures in the abyss would have it too. So, is it possible that the Abyssal Beasts and Juusou are closer than we may realize? Are Juusou just half human and half Abyssal Beast? They always seem to have this beastly appearance, so it wouldn't be that crazy to think, right? Alright, enough of these crazy theories. Let's switch gears and talk about Faputa for a second. She's one of the most complicated characters in the Abyss, and she's honestly rising in the popularity scale too. And honestly, she doesn't fit neatly into any box. So the arguments for Faputa as a Juusou are, she was born in the Abyss as a Narehate, not a transformed human, just like the rest of the Juusou. And she has some crazy powers and a deep connection to the Abyss, which makes her feel like she's part of its natural order. And arguments against her being a Juusou are, her origins are tied to wish granting stones, a cradle of desire, which is a major distinction from Juusou. And her connection to Buruberii suggests she's got a role that goes beyond what we know about Narehate or Juusou. Plus, you can't forget, she doesn't get affected by the curse of the Abyss, which so far we don't know if the others actually don't get affected by the curse either, but I think Saraja has kind of suggested it. Faputa's eyes are a huge deal too. In this scene at the end of episode 11, we see her eyes actually act as an artifact, just like Reg's helmet and other artifact devices. This is a huge fact that I missed both times that I watched season 2. This implies that to some extent Faputa is a relic, possibly like Reg. More likely, however, the artifact in her eyes is from the cradle of desire that gave her life. If anyone can bridge the gap between Narehate, Juusou, and even Aublades, or artifacts, it's probably her. Let's talk about Aublades for a moment. These ancient beings might be tied to the Abyss's original inhabitants. I think they're called the true residents. A lot of people think Reg might actually be an Aublade. Why? Well, first of all, he is mentioned to be an Aublade by multiple characters in the show. His mechanical body and his connection to the Abyss suggests that he was created for a specific purpose. Maybe even to protect the Abyss. If he is an Aublade, his incredible durability and strength could be tied to ancient technology designed to control or interact with the Abyss. If that's the case, Reg's powers could go way beyond what we've seen so far. However, Reg is also mentioned to be an artifact by some other characters, a true resident by others, and I've actually got a whole nother theory for his origins. Here's a weird connection. Reg seems to be linked to the twins, Shurumi and Mene. They seem to have a trust for Reg, as he was the only one that they really opened themselves up to. Maybe a little bit too much in that bath scene. It seems like the twins know something about Reg. They have also said that Reg and his friends will end up just like themselves. This is where this last crazy theory comes into place. So, Shurumi and Mene are both missing their arms and legs, just like the sole survivor at the top of the Abyss with Ozan. What if all twins have an inherent power from birth that allows them to instantly destroy limbs, and they have accidentally destroyed each other's limbs while looking at each other? A different set of twins caused the accident zone in the South Wharf district, where the sole survivor was the only one who made it out alive, although without any limbs. Reg also doesn't have any limbs, just robotic replacements. Maybe he was in a similar accident to the twins. Maybe, just maybe, his lost memory is that his name is actually Shurumi or Mene. I would really like to reach 10,000 subscribers by the end of June this year. So, if you like this video, please consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next one.
Bakery, baking videos, diving deep where the mystery flows into the abyss, where wonders reside. Don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy this ride.